Hello everyone. For today we have the lesson Children of India written by a very popular writer, loved writer, Ruskin Bond. The story is non-fiction, that means it's based on true facts. Okay. Fiction is which is based on imaginary thoughts and facts. Non-fiction just the opposite. Okay. So Children of India, the population of India has nearly about you can say 50% of the population are children. That means the youth. Okay, and the writer here, he is talking about the children from various parts of India, each walking towards a common goal, that is a better future. Like all of you, you are attending classes every day. In the morning you get up, you open up your laptops and mobile phones and you get to study, right? Why are we doing this? Why are we studying? Why are we making ourselves educated? Not just reading and writing, but why are we making ourselves educated? Why are we educating ourselves? To have a better future, right? So he talks about a lot he talks about children who are coming from various parts of India. Okay, and some are going to school by car, some go by auto, some go by foot, right? And then he says that the narrator is trying to draw a comparison between the conditions of the private schools and the government schools. Okay, he is trying to draw a comparison between them. How are the facilities, whether there are basic facilities or there are high end facilities. Then he tries to draw the reader's attention towards the struggle that these children have to go through just to reach their school, just to reach their institution, their school on time. What kind of struggles these students have to go through, these children, these little children have to go through. This the writer has talked about. And he says that some have to walk miles and miles, and while some others have to cross rivers, they need to climb hills just to reach school. Just imagine this. Just to reach school, they have to walk a lot of miles. 5 to 6 miles they need to walk. And they're not walking in those comfortable shoes. They're walking in whatever is available to them. Whether those are shoes which have fallen apart, or those are torn slippers which cannot be mended because they lack money, they lack financial resources. Then he talks about the more fortunate ones. Then he also tells us about that they're not only children who are less fortunate, who belong to poor backgrounds, but they're also children who belong to fortunate families. And then he tries to tell us that those are more fortunate children, as how they have an upper hand in exposure to all the opportunities that the former ones do not have. How the children who belong to poor households, they do not have that exposure, they do not have the opportunity to grab all those events and moments in life. Okay, and so he tells us that there are many children in our country who overcome various obstacles. Obstacles is problems daily to reach their schools. So come, let's meet these children of India and get to know about how their struggle is, what do they struggle for, and how they deal with such adverse situations. Adverse is the extreme situations, the bad situations, and they come out as winners. They come out with hope. They are fighting with that ray of hope, and they come out as winners. Okay, let's begin. They pass me every day on their way to school, boys and girls from the surrounding villages and the outskirts of the hill station. There are no school buses plying for these children. For many of them, it's a very long walk to school. Ranbir, who is 10, has to climb the mountain from his village, 4 miles distant and 2,000 feet below the town level. He comes in all weathers, wearing the same pair of cheap shoes until they have almost fallen apart. So here's a narrator, he's a boy, and the narrator here is telling us about what he sees while he's standing on the window every day. and he says that they pass me every day. Who are they here? All the boys and girls who are going towards the school. So they pass me every day on their way to school. There are boys, there are girls from the nearby villages. Surrounding means the nearby villages and the outskirts of the hill station. The outskirts of the hill station, that means the outer parts which are outside the village. They are children who are coming from the outskirts of the hill station also. There are no school buses plying for these children. That means there are no school buses which would be traveling to pick up these children from their houses. For many of them, it's a very long walk to school. And then the writer Ruskin Bond tells us that for many of the children, it's a really long walk to reach the school. And then he points out to one of the first character, whose name is Ranbir, who is just 10 years old. And he tells us that he has to climb the mountain from his village. Just try to imagine this. This little boy who is just 10 years old, somewhat similar to your age, he has to climb the mountain from his village. And where is his village? 4 miles distant and 2,000 feet below the town level. So first he has to walk those 2,000 feet to climb up, come to the level, and then he has to climb that mountain. He has to walk those 4 miles, approximately 6 kilometers, and he has to climb the mountain. He comes in all weathers wearing the same pair of cheap shoes until they have almost fallen apart. Fallen apart means torn apart. They have been torn until the shoes have broken apart, they have torn apart. He comes in all the weathers. Whether it's raining, whether it's scorching heat of the sun, or it's shaking winters, that doesn't matter. He attends school every day, and he wears those same pair of shoes until those pair of shoes have completely fallen apart. Okay. Here's this question: how far is Ranbir's village from the school? So we know the answer. It is 4 miles distant and 2,000 feet below the town level. So you can write Ranbir's village is 4 miles distant and 2,000 feet below the town level from his school. He has to climb a mountain from his village to reach the school. Okay. Ranbir is a cheerful soul. He waves to me whenever he sees at my window. Sometimes he brings cucumbers from his father's field. I pay him for the cucumbers. He uses that money for books or for small things needed at home. Are you able to judge see this boy, just a 10-year-old little boy, he's not spending that money to buy those chips of packet or chocolates or any toy. What is he spending that money at? To fulfill his basic needs, which shows that he was not very much financially good. So Ranbir is a cheerful soul. That means he is a happy-go boy, and he is always very energetic. He waves to me whenever he sees me at my window, and he always says hello to the narrator whenever he passes from the window. Sometimes he brings cucumbers from his father's field. That means his father is a farmer, he has a field. And the narrator pays him for the cucumbers. And what does Ranbir do? He does not purchase any kind of toy or chips or chocolate with that money. He uses that money for books or for the small things, the basic things which might be needed at his house. So you just see, this 10-year boy is so much considerate about what is to be prioritized, what things are needed first. Okay, we'll continue in the next video. Okay, till then, go through the video again, read the chapter, read the first page, that is page number 38, and the next video will have the explanation for the further part. All right.